So the NHL is at the All-Star break. So first things first, I wanted to talk about the Red Wings. Obviously, they're my team. Got to talk about them. There was an interesting post I saw on Reddit here where they broke down a bunch of the stats for the Red Wings at the All-Star break. So I'm going to read them, and then we'll talk about it. So at the All-Star break, the Red Wings are 6 points into wildcard 2, and 1 point back out of third place in the Atlantic. Dylan Larkin is on a 12-game point streak and on pace for the best season of his career. Lucas Raymond has 41 points in 50 games and is on pace for north of 70. Alex Lyon has the fourth best save percentage in the NHL. The Red Wings have scored 174 goals. That is fourth most in the NHL. The Red Wings have the fifth most defensive combined points with 120. Lucas Raymond leads the team in assists, while the Wings have the fourth most goals in the NHL. The penalty kill is 11th in the league at 81.2%. The power play is 12th in the league at 22.7%. Red Wings are 8-3-2 in their last 13 games. So they had a really great month of January. Really great stuff. Obviously, they ended it kind of rough, losing in overtime to the Ottawa Senators. But the Red Wings are on the right path. I mean, like, there's no doubt about it. The Red Wings are a really good team. Like, I don't think they're like, I don't think they're like a Stanley Cup contender necessarily, but right now, 50 games in, you got 58 points. You are right there with the Toronto Maple Leafs in terms of points. Obviously, you played a couple more games than them, but you're right there with them. And as far as players, I mean, we talked about some of those stats. First of all, Lucas Raymond is having a hell of a year. Like, way better than I thought it was going to be. Lucas Raymond right now, he's got the 50 games, 41 points, 13 have been goals, 28 have been assists. I mean, he's the third. He's got the third most points on the team. Alex DeBrincat, the big trade that was made in the offseason, he's your second most points on the team with 43, which is incredible because I thought he was going to be the leader of this team. Or not the leader in, like the captain. He's not going to be a captain. Dylan Larkin is the captain. But I thought he was going to be leading in points. No. Now, to be fair, he's played 50 games, so he's played every game. Larkin obviously missed some time due to injury. But Larkin, despite losing time to injury, has more points. 47 points for the captain, 23 goals, 24 assists. He also leads the team in points. He leads the team in goals. Larkin is really impressing me, and it makes me feel a whole lot better that we extended this cap because he's been fantastic. And I know he's one of those players where he's not seen as a superstar. He's not seen as, an elite forward, an elite center, or an elite goal scorer. But one thing that I'll give him is that the kid's got heart. And I say he's a kid, he's like 28 years old at this point, or 27, however old he is. He's got heart, and he is the epitome of the team. And I mean, like, he obviously being the captain that comes with the territory, but he has the respect of his teammates. I think he has the respect of his peers, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't think that players look at him the same way that fans look at him, where they're like, yeah, I mean, he's like pretty okay. He's probably like a second or third liner on a good team. It's like, we're a good team, and he is on our first line. So I don't know if that's like we're going to end up being a Stanley Cup team with him in our first line. I don't know. I mean, like, he's got the experience. He's got the goal-scoring ability. He's got the, offensive prowess. The only thing I can say about him is I guess he's a negative player when he's on the ice. He's -2, which, if you want to take plus-minus for anything, I'm not a big fan of plus-minus. But, he's been incredible. And on top of him, you also got guys that were brought in the offseason. You got a guy like Daniel Sprong, 13 goals, 32 points for him. You got Shane Gostisbehere, defenseman. He's got 7 goals and 25 assists. You got JT Comfort. 3 guys that were brought in the offseason and free agency are in the top 6 of points on the team. And, kind of hidden below the surface there is Mo Seider. Mo Seider's got 26 points. Now, he's not, lighting it up exactly, but he's a +2 player. 20 assists, 6 goals for Seider. He's top 10 on the team in points. He's a really solid defenseman. And even got guys like Andrew Kopp, who's having a pretty good start. 24 points for him. You got Michael Rasmussen with 22 points. Robbie Fabry with 21. Jake Wallman with 18 points. And, of course, the addition of Patrick Kane. We'll be getting him back, this Saturday likely against Vancouver. And I look at their schedule for this month, and that's where it gets a little nervous because February is not an easy month. And I don't remember when it was in the season. It was like we are going to have the toughest stretch, or like one of the toughest stretches in terms of strength of schedule. And I don't know. I don't really pay too much mind in that. I pay a little bit more mind of it in hockey and in the sports outside of football. I pay a little bit more mind to it because you're playing more games. But I mean, we got a pretty decent stretch here. We're going to start the weekend, or we're going to start the second half. We're over halfway through the season anyway. So, but we're going to start with the Canucks, Saturday, and then we go on a West Coast road trip, heading to Edmonton, back to Vancouver, then to Calgary, then to Seattle. That's going to be a tough trip. And we talked about it at the beginning of January. I think you got to win 2 out of those 3. If you could win 2 out of the 3, maybe get an overtime on one of them. If you could win 3 out of 4, or did I say 2 out of 3? I meant 2 out of 4. If you can win 2 out of those 4, if you can win, 3 out of the 4, that's fantastic. And it doesn't really matter to me which ones you win. I mean, it's gonna be tough beating Edmonton because I don't know if they're gonna lose another game. They what are they at, like 17 wins in a row? It's unbelievable what they're doing. And Vancouver looks like they could be one of the best teams in the NHL. So, I mean, if you could split with them, you play them twice in the next couple of weeks here. If you could split with them, you can win the home game, maybe lose the game on the road. Although I wouldn't like to lose the game on the road because it's at 10 p.m., and that means I don't want to stay up and then have us just lose. It'd be great if you could sweep them, but I doubt that's going to happen, to be perfectly honest. But then outside of that, you come back, you got Colorado at home, St. Louis, not as good of a team. Colorado's a very good team. Then you got Chicago on the road. That's a classic original 6 matchup. Now, Chicago is ass this year. They are very, very bad. But they still got Connor Bedard, and I don't know if he'll be healthy for that game. He might be. He's been out for a little bit, and I'm not sure if he'll be back for that game in particular. But then you got some East Conference teams you're going to have to beat. You got the Capitals and you got the Islanders at home to end the season. You got to beat those teams because those teams are hungry, right? Those are going to be the teams that are going to be fighting for that wild card spot that you're currently occupying. And, despite the fact that I think they're doing really well, they are still the second wild card team in the East, right? They're at the bottom level of playoff team. Now, they're close to overtaking that, right? They get a couple of wins here. They're up in, the top 3 in their division. But, it's not going to be easy, is my point. Hey there, what you just watched was actually a clip from a larger show that we do every Tuesday night. What are you doing Tuesday night? Go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the like button so that you don't miss out on any more of our weekly shows every single Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope to see you there.